Hey everybody, welcome to the daily update for Friday, January 2nd, 2026. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a great New Year. This is a really weird week. Wednesday felt like a Friday. Yesterday didn't feel like a Thursday. Today felt like a Monday. I think it's because we didn't have a half day on Wednesday. I don't know. I'm all discombobulated. But glad to have you here in the new year. Just a little bit of homework, a little bit of housekeeping. Let me go over here. So I will be heading out on Sunday, the 4th to CES. I'll be coming back on Wednesday, the 7th. It shouldn't interrupt the daily updates on Monday and Tuesday. It might be a little bit later. Wednesday will depend on when I leave. So again, could be a little bit later. So just want to give you that heads up. All right, let's take a look at today's action. So, very interesting. I want to start with the futures because here's, I got to figure out how to hide this. There we go. So, right out of the gate, we started to fall off, and it's when you see this rescaled, it has a little bit more drama to it. So let's just take a look at how it played out at the open. So you get a little pop there, and then that's basically the first bar, the first 5-minute bar. And so you're like, oh, okay, that's not great. Then it extends. So it looks like, okay, we're selling once we've gotten back into the new year. And then we get a rally. And then it looks like, hey, we're back to our old ways. We're going to get markets that are going to buy the dip. And all of a sudden, no, we reverse. And then we just chop, like lower lows, lower highs. Finally stabilize a little bit, and at the end of the day get a bit of a rally. So if we look at the action on the Russell, so the Russell actually at this point, instead of just going straight down at that open, was doing this W pattern. And I said, this is a level where if we get above this level and hold, we can really rock it. We didn't do it here. We failed. We did it here, and I wouldn't say rock it, but we closed above the high on Friday. This is on the futures, obviously. Had a similar pattern here with the Dow, right? Look at this W pattern in the futures, and then we ended higher. So a little bit better relative strength for sure today in IWM and the Dow. So IWM was up 1%. Dow was up almost 0.75%. Qs were the weakest. They were down just a fraction. And then SPX was up just a fraction. If we go over to this 5-minute chart, and I started drawing this downtrend line, I think maybe like in here on the 30th. So we see that downtrend. And one of the things we saw here is we saw this acceleration of the downtrend. See how this line is getting steeper? Today, we tried to break that. We got rejected, knocked back down, and still, even though after that rally, we are still at the lower end of this accelerated downtrend. We're still far away from this one here. If you look at the same action on the Qs, tried to break back above there, lost it, and we are still below that accelerating downtrend. If you look at a contrast here, IWM actually broke this downtrend that we've had starting from the 22nd. And then finally, we have the Dow, which did the same thing. So what's that doing? That's just another way of illustrating the strength right now in the Dow and in IWM relative to the SPX and the Qs. Will that change? Maybe. We're going to look at that in a second. But today I want to just highlight a couple names. ONDS. This is a name that I put on the watch list here. I talked about it on Wednesday. I talked about how you could have done a cash flow trade here, even if it gapped up. And I also, let's see, one of the things I also mentioned was, is that you could go here to deconstructing a trade. Deconstructing a trade. And you can go down here to how to manage a big gap down open, or you could go to how to trade a gap up off the daily watch list, or finding entries off of an opening gap. There's lots of resources here to show you how you could have gotten in here on a gap up. But I did go through this on Wednesday. We talked about how you can trim these things if you want to swing them to give yourself a little bit of insurance. And if you did, that was great, because ONDS was up 13% today. So we've gone from, this is where it was on the watch list at 9. Now we're at 11. So somebody do the math. 25%. Is that 25% in 2 trading days? Pretty good. Not bad. And then another one, UMAC. This one was, this is something I added here along with some other names. I think Archer and can't remember the other one. Those ones fell off the list, but this is a name. I still have like a trailer position. I have a half position actually on this. So this one is moving nicely as well. It's been a pretty good move from 9 up to 13.5. What I'd like to do on this is hopefully if we close and hold above here, well, we did close. If we hold above here, I'd just like to trail a stop on this one. So there were some things that were working today. Let's go through the, let's go through all the indexes here. The problem we have right now is that the Santa Claus rally is on life support. Yes, we did get a nice push off of this support level. Yes, we held the 21-day. Yes, well, we're not back to the 9 yet, but we did push off here. So could we get a move up here? Yes, technically we could, but we only have 1 day left in the Santa Claus rally. That would be on Monday. So